Hi, we're going to look at OASIS, some of the settings, to try and understand how we can change the settings to allow us to process data from different types of probes. We're going to look right now at how to process some data from a probe I generally call the CIP100, which is a DMT probe which has 64 elements on the diode array and has what we call a mono data format, so it's not a grayscale probe. The pixels are either black for activated or they're not activated at all, so each pixel can only take one of two values as opposed to one of four values for the grayscale probes. So this is what I call a CIP100. So some of the variables that can change here are the resolution of the pixels and the arm separation. So what we're going to do, we've got the main OASIS panel and we're going to click on this edit config button and we're going to make a configuration for a new probe. So these are the settings for a specific probe entry, and what we're going to do, we're going to click on the current ID and we're going to go to a blank entry and we're going to create brand new settings for a new probe, and we're going to do something. We're going to make settings for a probe which I call a CIP100, which is a DMT probe with 64 elements on the diode array, and it's a mono probe, like I say, so it's non-grayscale. And some people call these PIPs, PIP probes. So, but I'm going to call it a CIP100. So that's just a general reference which we can use to inform OASIS. File prefix, now this is going to be used so when we point to folders, the OASIS software understands which files are raw data files and which aren't. So my raw data files typically have an image file underscore as a prefix, and that's due to a configuration in the PADS software provided by DMT. And the next box is the file suffix, and some OAP optical array probes do have file suffixes like the 2DS probes by spec, but the DMT software typically produces raw image files with no suffix, so in that instance you put 4 question marks. Okay, the next thing is to select a value for the arm separation. So for my probe I have 100 millimeters, so a 10 centimeter arm separation. The pixel resolution is 100, so it's 100 micron pixels. And how many pixels do I have? I have 64 pixels for my DMT probe. And the probe type, which defines what decompression routines we need to use, is CIP100. Okay, that's important, because if this informs the software that we're not processing, for example, grayscale software, grayscale data or 2DS data. Okay, so that's done now, so you can move that window to the side and we can actually choose from the currently active probe from the OASIS window this new probe, this CIP100. So I hope that's clear. You can then use the input paths, output paths, process buttons, etc., to then process the corresponding data.